Well, hello and welcome to the weekly Mix and Mash, brought to you by the Midweek Mashed Tattie Sportscast. I'm your host, Ingolf Giant Blade. With me today is Bercy Rage Scream and Johan Gorfang. How you staying, boys?
Jesus.
That's some Norse names.
I'm loving about the Norse names.
Who's who?
Michael, you're Bercy Rage Scream.
Big Bercy.
Paul, you're Johan Gorfang.
I would rage and scream if my middle name me Bercy.
Bercy! Bercy! Dinner's at Bercy!
It's close to Bertie, isn't it? Bertie. Bertie Box.
Bertie Wersey.
Oh, lads. How's it gone today? He's alright?
No bad.
All the better for seeing yous, guys. All the better for it.
I was rage scream through the week there, so I was on Thursday night. My bloody kidney stone. I woke up 1 o'clock in the morning and I was like, what the actual hell is going on here? So, oh my God, it's the worst pain I ever felt in my life. Like,
oh, sweet
legit.
Jesus.
I was like, what the the message is going, you sure it's no gas? I'm like, is this what gas feels like? I don't know. I've never
How
had
much gas, woman?
Yeah, it's like, I've seen folk like in pain with gas and that. I'm like, this is nigga. Honestly, I don't know. And I was spewing, I was vomiting as well.
Literally, man.
And,
wow.
And
God.
I was just like, what the hell? I had cold sweats and that was that. So I was revving a bit. I was holding off as much as I could. I think she said to me a couple of times, like, you sure you don't want to go to the hospital? I'm like, nah.
Just try and muscle through it, man.
Hospital. Aye. Go to the hospital and A&E, and the guy's like, what's up? He's like, you sure it's no gas? And I'm like, mate.
Say fucking gas.
He's poking my stomach. Like, you sure you don't need to pass? I was like, I've been vomiting. I've actually riffed it a few times. So I did. So I was like, I was like, nah. And he's seen me, like, because I was walking up and down and I had to, like, stop and I was, like, kind of going to my knees and that. And he was like, I think you might have a kidney stone. Like, come here, like. Nah, he was trying to get blood pressure. He's like, oh, can you sit still? And I was like, mate, tell me to sit still one more time. I'll sit you still with this left hook. Honestly.
I'll sit you still.
Honestly, man. Yeah. After that, they just put me on a bed and then started injecting me with painkillers and all that, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Sweet morphine.
I love you, mate. I love you.
Was there? Nah, they actually just put me to sleep, really.
You'd have been glad to,
went for an ultrasound, CT scan and everything. And I'm like, what the hell?
CT scans are fun, aren't they?
Aye. That's the second one
I've never had one yet. I've never had a CT scan.
What was glorious?
Is it?
I'll
have to lie as still as you possibly can and just listen to the fucking
the big mad death tunnel that you've been put in, basically. Aye.
Actually, these days they're a lot quieter. It's very much quieter than I remember it.
Has the new technology improved, is it?
They've improved it a bit.
No feeding it with
maybe it was
coal
the
anymore.
shitty NHS ones we had. Paul, I'll let you guess. What was my first CT scan for?
Something rugby related, I'm assuming. Is it rugby related?
Michael?
What happened?
Huh?
Oh, was it when you get trampled?
No.
Trampled?
Scan for that?
No.
Playing rugby, aye.
Aye,
Some bad bastard decided to,
I stamped my head.
air quotes, ruck him out of the ruck, but I really just
with the
stamped
old
his
raking, the old raking the boots.
Aye.
Jesus.
No, it was actually on my knee.
Oh, that magical knee, God.
Aye. It was my right knee because I couldn't figure out why I was always in pain and what was going on, and like how they could.
That way, X-ray.
Well, they did it first, and then they did a CT scan. Okay, like they tried everything on that knee, steroids.
Still never seen a knee that can bend like your knee, man. That was frightening, man. Just watching it go. Whoop. I've never seen somebody ever to be able to touch their own nipples with their toes with a bent leg. Not actually quite true, but you get my drift. Your knee is a flaming hinge joint, but you've got a double-sided hinge joint.
Aye, pretty much.
You're a double-sided door, man.
The old saddle hinge knee.
It's like a saddle knee.
Oh man.
Anywho,
I was just going to say, sure digress.
Aye.
I guess let's just mix it up.
nothing else for it. Get the biscuit.
There we go. Today we're just going to start off with the football.
What?
Yeah, the first thing I've got to say is, well, congratulations to Rangers for making it to the UEFA Cup final. Europa League, as they call it now. It's with a heavy heart that I congratulate you, but congratulations all the same.
Yeah, it cannot be easy for Celtic fans currently.
I dare say that Xavi might have been right. Remember when we all laughed when Xavi said that Rangers was one of the favourites to win? And we were like, Xavi, like, I think Xavi knows a bit more about football than me do.
I mean, newsflash, legendary Spanish midfielder has more knowledge than three dafties in a podcast, and for that matter, all of the world. But I mean, man. I see with the bookies though that Eintracht Frankfurt are the favourites simply because they're the Bundesliga team.
Well,
which is meant. I think if you're a Rangers man, you're putting all your house in that, man.
If I was a Rangers fan, I would definitely smash some money on that. That's a very, very winnable game for them.
Absolutely. I mean,
which again, aye.
Did you watch the game on Thursday, Harvey? Did you watch all of the game?
No, I did not watch it. I was watching.
I can't anything but the fucking Rangers.
No, I was watching that game. I was watching
West Ham.
Eintracht. Mm-hmm.
I watched the Rangers game, man. They're an absolute force of nature in Europe at home. It's unbelievable.
I've seen them play a couple of times, and man, they just blows my mind how good they can be in Europe. But then in the league, they've shot the bed.
They've stuttered.
At what point is a fan of Rangers or a fan of Scottish football or whatever your position is, at what point do you sort of question how and why they seemingly doing so well consistently in Europe, but yet struggling at home, in the league and stuff? Like is that? I mean, to me, that's a problem. Like, it's all well and good. It's all well and good having a big season in Europe, but surely your bread and butter should be the league. I mean, if you sacrifice some cup games to focus your players getting ready for Europe, fair enough, but surely they can't be happy with how the leagues went.
I don't think there's just one answer for it, Mick, for the league form. There's no just one explanation as to why they're going to finish probably 6 points behind Celtic second place. I mean, by the way, fair play to Celtic because nobody's seen this team win the league at the start. I remember we kind of previewed everything and I remember saying, "Oh well, let's just write this off the new Harvey, mate." That was my words. And they've been they've been the entertainers all season. But with Rangers, you're talking the guts of nearly 70 games this season. So the fact that they've dropped to the league, I would probably put down to mental fatigue more than anything else. Like they're getting up for these massive games in Europe because these are against the best in the continent. Like all these big high profile ties, like you're spending a lot of mental energy in these games as well as physical energy. I mean, physically, these guys are professional athletes, but it's in the mental side where I think they're maybe just shooting a load, as it were, on the big games. So when it comes to your wee shiters against like Dundee United away from home and bloody Ross County or whatever, they're mentally fatigued for it and it's let them down. But I mean, it's a great season for both of the Old Firm, I think, is the bottom line, lads. Like, they can both take a lot out of it. Even if Rangers don't win the Europa League final, it's a money spinner of a season for them.
It's still a massive season for them, just to get there to the final and that as well. So I'd say success. Well, they still have the cup.
And still the Scottish Cup, of course, mate. Aye,
the Scottish Cup, so you can still win a cup.
See if they don't win the Scottish Cup and they lose in the final of Europa. Is that still a success? Obviously, it's still a financial success, but can you call that a successful season?
It depends.
As a fan,
successful cup run, no doubt, but can you call that a successful season?
As a fan, no, you can't, because you've got to 2 finals and you get beat in 2 finals. You threw the league away.
I suppose you couldn't. But then, if I remember correctly, in the Celtic year that they went to Seville, they also finished second in the league. But people largely remember that as a great, beautiful story of how they got to the final and just came up short against Mourinho's Porto team that then went on to win the Champions League next season.
Yeah.
So you wonder how folk will look back at it in time if they don't win and if they don't win the Scottish Cup. Like how people will see it in years to come. It's been some adventure for them now, certainly. Anyway, but I think there's some truth in what you're saying, Mick. In that, does it still come down as a failure if you have won nothing? Then it probably does in a lot of ways.
I don't mean to take anything away for Rangers or the Rangers fans, because it is a massive achievement for any Scottish team to get to that level of football. So it's phenomenal for them and it's phenomenal for Scottish football that they've done so well. And I wouldn't be mad like if they won. You know what I mean? Nothing against them. Like if they're playing Celtic, I mean obviously I'm not the biggest football fan, but I'm a Celtic man at heart. So if they're playing Celtic, then by Christ I want them to lose bad. But like in this endeavour, like Celtic's not in it, so you know what I mean, I'm going to support the Scottish team. I'd like to see them win. It'd be great for Scottish football to see them win. But
I would as well. I would. I think
the questions are there.
Aye. I mean, if they win, they go straight into the Champions League next year.
They do. Aye, that would effectively mean 2 Scottish teams at the group stages, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
Phenomenal for Scottish football. And a first in God knows long, 15 years or something ridiculous it is since both Old Firm teams have been in Champions League group stages. I probably it might well be more. No, since we were the boys, basically, like you're talking. Has that been a case where both Old Firm teams are playing on Wednesday and Tuesday nights? Like,
I think it's about 15 years or something like that.
Aye, you're talking since O'Neill in charge of Celtic and Advocaat in charge of Rangers kind of territory. Like, that's how long ago that would have been. It's a long time ago.
Aye, it's a while. Well, it'd be good to see. In fact, just talking about that, to be honest, it's already been confirmed that Scotland will have 2 teams in the Champions League this year. Obviously, the runners-up will go into the Champions League qualifying round, and the champions go into the group stage. If Rangers win, they go into the group stage, however. But and this is because Russia,
of course,
they're no affiliated clubs will be participating in UEFA club competitions in next season. So next season we're safe. It's just the season after maybe we have to think. So as it stands, we'll have Champions League group stage, runners up still in the league go into the second qualifying round of the Champions League. If they win that, they go into the playoff. If they lose that, they go straight into the group stage of the the Europa League. Sorry. Third place, which has to be Hearts, go into the Europa League playoff round. If they lose that, they go into the group stages of the Conference League. Fourth and fifth, they go into the third and second qualifying rounds of the Conference League, respectively.
Can I interject very briefly? You have to go back to the 2007-2008 season for both the Old Firm and the group stages at Champions League.
Wow, I mean, that is wild. That's a generation ago, effectively.
What is that? That's 15 years into it. Aye.
Like, their guys in their 20s have never seen the two of them in Europe in the same competition, like in the Champions League together.
Crazy, yeah?
Wild, man. Like, no got a vivid memory of it. I'm meaning, like properly remember it. Like, it's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
So obviously, just sticking with this Champions League stuff here, with the repercussions of Russia, Russian teams not being allowed in next year. So obviously, Villarreal, they're not going to win the Champions League this year because they're out. So the champions of the 12th ranked nation will now go directly into the group stage. It just so happens that Ukraine is the
no way, really?
12th ranked nation, and if for whatever reasons the Ukrainian teams cannot participate, then it goes down another place to Turkey.
Right, okay.
So,
Oh, well, fingers crossed for the Ukrainian teams into this awful bloody war. Or it's not even a war. Invasion is kind of on its arse, but then and Ukraine can get back to normal and they can see their football teams can get back into Europe and that and be running again.
Aye.
Fingers crossed, man.
Aye, fingers crossed. I'll come back to Champions League in a minute because we've got some quite amazing matches to go through here. So Celtic, stick with Celtic here. They've appointed Mark Law, who is the son of ex-chief executive Peter Law.
Aye. I recognise the name.
They've recruited him. They have hired him as the head of first team scouting and recruitment.
Oh, right.
Now, a lot of people are
nepotism.
They're all up in arms, this and that, blah, blah, blah. However, Mark Law has, for the last 10 years, he has been the City Football Group's head of scouting and recruitment.
No, right.
Okay. So City Football Group being obviously owned by Manchester City. So it's Man City, New York City, and Yokohama. Who coincidentally, Ange Postecoglou was the manager of Yokohama. So he's worked with them before.
So he'll have a relationship with him.
He already has a relationship with him. He knows what kind of players he likes and wants for the team. He's been the head of scouting and recruitment for a very large City group who have they've been able to pluck folk for left, right and centre for nowhere, make names at all these clubs. So the folk who are complaining because he's Peter Law's son, they need to zip the myth because this man has credentials.
Shut up in your face.
So should be a very exciting off season. See what they do.
Aye, that sounds like it's a good addition, certainly.
Aye. In terms of recruitment and stuff, so that will be that would be good. So Chelsea, we were talking about Chelsea last week. Oh, aye. After I tell Chelsea, I'll tell you that story. Chelsea. They have now been sold pending regulatory checks. So it'll probably be sometime in late May that everything will be approved. Obviously, they need to do the the fit and proper test that they do for the owners and all that. They have been bought for $2.5 billion. It was the consortium that we were talking about last week, Mr. Bowley.
It's a Todd Bowley,
yeah. They also announced that they have pledged to invest another $1.75 billion into the club. So that $1.7 billion will be going towards the stadium, youth team, first team, women's team, Chelsea Charity Foundation.
Amount of money.
I know.
Stupid amount of money. I read something, maybe I picked it up wrong, but I read something about like the total amount that they had to pay was $4 billion because it was written in that X amount of billion had to go to charity or something.
Well, I think that was what Roman Abramovich was writing off his debt personally to him. I'm sure, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's what it was. So, the money that he loaned the club, he doesn't want that money back because obviously it's going to be very hard for him to get the money back now. So he said that they'll go to charity. He wants the debt to go to charity. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom how many fucking zeros that is, man. That's so much money.
Aye. Oh, and you remember when I was saying last week about the UK businessman who bid $4.5 billion, why they never took that into consideration? That's because this man put the bid in about 8 weeks after the deadline had closed. So it's like, mate, what you do, man? 2 days ago, there was an article saying that, I still have hope of getting the club. Nah. If you can't do something simple as put in a bid before the time,
Probably doesn't have the money. There's no talk. It was then.
So
getting his name in the paper.
Mine last week when we were talking about the Ancelotti and they'll pay him off or whatever. You remember?
I do.
Mike was looking at me
I'm racking my brain. It's ringing a bell. I'm just trying to find where the bell is.
So last week we were talking about Carlo Ancelotti might get sacked by Real Madrid if they don't win Champions League.
Right,
and you're pay him off or whatever. And then after we came off here, I remembered a story, a true story, by the way, by Mike Ashley, who was the then
Newcastle guy,
Newcastle manager,
sports directing on that.
Aye, so and giving his coaches and management and the coaching staff 8-year contracts.
Right.
Right. Aye. So what happened was he went out. One of the coaches were out that night because he had friends come in from wherever. He was only supposed to be going out till 11. He said he was going to go home because they had a match the next day. He ended up staying a wee bit more, longer. Mike Ashley came in and he was like, oh shit, I need to leave. Don't want Mike Ashley to see me. Yada yada. Mike Ashley seen him and they were talking and getting drinks and doing shots and that. He's like, I'm going to give you guys 8-year contracts. And he's like, haha, all right, yeah, whatever. Next day he goes in and Alan Pardew called him into the office and said, he thought he was going to get a bollock. And he's like, by the way, Mike Ashley's just tell me, this is your contract offer, 8 years. So Alan Pardew was like, you can't sign that because you'll be on a longer contract than everybody else. The animosity and everything. So he went back to Mike Ashley, this coach, went back to Mike Ashley and said, listen, it's no fair, all the lads. Right. He's like, all right, well, I'll give them 8-year contracts and all.
I know who you're talking about. It was Andy Woodman, wasn't it?
Andy Woodman, that's who it was.
Andy Woodman's dad. He was also a keeper.
Aye. So the contract got given to a lawyer, a sports lawyer, and he said one day that he was sitting and he got a phone call. He's like, oh, what's happening? He's like, have you signed that contract yet? He's like, no. He's like, get a fucking pen and sign it now. That is a fully guaranteed contract. Once you sign that contract, it doesn't matter how they sack you, when they sack you, they have to pay you for 8 years worth of work at your rate.
Jesus.
Aye, for real, it was a real thing.
You would almost just go and deliberately get sacked.
Well, the lawyer said to him, sign it, put it in, and then get sacked after, and you'll be rich.
The rich beyond your wildest dreams. That's true.
I remembered that. I was like, oh shit, because I remember watching it on something I can't mind.
He went on the podcast Under the Cosh, so he did Andy Woodman, and he talked about it.
That's
I'm
the
sure.
one.
Was that what you
Under
saw
the
it?
Cosh. That's where I remember it from. Under the Cosh. Aye.
John Parkin and Chris Brown, isn't it? The two ex-footballers.
So for everybody who was like, how could Mike Ashley be putting that club into so much financial troubles? That's why.
But then
he does shit like that.
But then he seems to always have money and make money, Mike Ashley. So there's obviously a bit of brains to him, even though he likes a booze.
He owns Sports Direct. And other companies.
He's doing 8-year contracts there, but then he's all about the 0-hour contracts and all the rest.
I suppose Direct.
Exactly.
You know the problem is with these Sports Direct folk, they've not been doing shots out of the massive mugs with him. That's what it is. And you get a Sports Direct mug in front of him, fill it with whiskey, and say, "We'll take turns about till we pass out." Oh, great! Have you seen the pictures of Carlo Ancelotti, Mick? By the way, before we move on. I've sent it to you right now. This was the City parade when they won La Liga on Saturday. Him and the players.
Over this.
What a shagger, What a shagger.
Come on.
Carlo Ancelotti with the shades and the cigar the size of King Kong's finger that he's smoking.
Not a fuck to be given in that picture.
Sack me if you want.
Right.
Sorry, lads. So, when you go.
No, it's all right. So, some amazing stories this week, right? So, listen to this, Michael. Bristol Rovers in League 2 in England. I don't know if you probably seen this, Paul, but Bristol Rovers had to win by 5 goals or more than Northampton to gain automatic promotion to League 1. Northampton, the score finished 3-1. Northampton won 3-1. Bristol Rovers won 7-0. The fans in jubilation, they stormed the park, they were going crazy.
They scored the 7th goal in the 90th minute.
90th minute. Yeah.
That's epic, man.
Aye, wild.
Isn't it?
That is epic. That's football.
Aye.
I mean, take your hooligan pish elsewhere. That is what football is about, man. That's brilliant.
Aye, incredible.
Brilliant, isn't it? Class.
That's
worth a pitch invasion, Paul.
I'll get they get to invade. They didn't finish third bottom. They get to invade, so they not wank of the week in any stretch. Absolutely not. No, they get to invade for that. That's well worth it.
Through the week, Jose Mourinho guided Roma to their first European final, albeit the new Europa Conference League final. But it's the first European final that Roma's had in 31 years.
God damn.
Jose Mourinho was in tears. This is a man who's won the Champions League, the Premier League, Europa League. And this man is in tears for getting him to the Conference League final. First time in 31 years.
I've got fond memories watching the Italian football on channel. I think it was Channel 4 that used to show it. Watching it with my papa when I was like wee, so like kind of early to mid 90s. And it was like the Milan clubs in Roma were world class teams, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's
yep.
They used to be the Roma, place to go. So they are good.
Aye. Roma have said that they will give away their allocation of tickets for the final for free to season ticket holders and that.
Outstanding.
Mm-hmm. They don't need to do that. Would you see an English team do that? Would you fuck?
Aye.
Well done,
Roma.
Well done, Roma.
They take the RSB or whatever you call it, RRP or whatever, and times it by 10.
The PISS is what they would take, man. For sure.
Aye, they would.
Well played, Roma. Fair play.
The last thing I want to talk about in the football section, at least, is Real Madrid. These guys do not know when they've been bet this season. Like, crazy.
The Charles Oliveira of football, man.
Aye.
They are.
So in the Champions League this year, the knockout stage, at least, Michael, against PSG, they were 2-0 down. They had 30 minutes remaining. They came back, they won that.
Yep.
Chelsea, they were 4-3 down, 10 minutes to go.
Yep.
Came back, won that. Against Man City, 5-3 down. 7 minutes, I'll say. 7 minutes to go. It was the 89th minute. They were 5-3 down. They come back and they win it. They scored 2 goals. They scored one in the 89th, one in the 91st. And then that took it to extra time. A couple minutes into extra time. Boom. They got a penalty. Won that.
Wild.
They're zombies, man. They are like a Korean zombie of football. The Charles Oliveira of football.
Aye.
They never know when they're beat. It's freakish, man.
It's crazy. A lot of folk have been given stick with Pep Guardiola. Like, Pep Guardiola, teams have had these collapses in previous years in the Champions League. 2010, they conceded 2 in 13 minutes. 2007, 2 in 8 minutes. 2020, 2 in 8 minutes. 2022, well, a couple of days ago, 3 in 6 minutes. Like,
Aye.
you know,
Yep.
there's a few more, like 8 more, but aye.
So a clear pattern.
Aye. There's some Man City fans who are calling for him to be sacked now because he hasn't won the Champions League. He's had several cracks at it, and he hasn't.
Interesting. But
He hasn't done it.
They're well in the running for winning the Premiership, you know.
Aye, well, that's
But they don't. They want the Champions League now. That's the thing that they want now is the Champions League. He's been there from 2016. I want to say. Aye.
Right.
So 6 seasons he's been there. Oh, get this for a start. 6 seasons he's been there. How much money do you think he spent on players?
Now, are we taking an aggregate based on players sold, or are we being
just how much they've spent? I would imagine.
How many
outlay.
he's spent?
Just the outlay.
Aye.
Now, I can't think of too many massive signings, but I'm going to fling out like I don't know, 100 million or something. 80 million. 80 million. I'll go with 80 million.
80 million? That's one player these days, Michael. In 6 seasons, Pep Guardiola...
I meant 800.
800 million? Okay. Pep Guardiola has spent over $1 billion
Jesus.
in 6 seasons. This is what people are starting to say. He's had all this money. He's not won the Champions League. Granted, he's won 3 Premier Leagues, an FA Cup, 2 FA Community Shields, and 4 League Cups, but never the Champions League. And folk are saying that he's just can't do it and get him out. They need somebody else and to get Man City to that next stage.
I don't know where I sit with that. Because, I mean, 4 league titles in 6 years is dominant. Like...
Aye. If they win it. They should.
And they probably should win it, going by the running.
Aye.
Like...
Aye.
They're now 3 points clear of Liverpool, obviously, because Liverpool
3 points.
drew.
Drew yesterday.
Aye.
I mean, it's... Aye.
Man City fans, however, need to know their role and sit the fuck down, no, I've got to say, because they're there because of the money spent. Doesn't matter who's in charge. They should just enjoy being successful. You can't win them all. Let's take the money out and watch you fall like a fucking stone back into the third tier again. You know what I mean? Like, I think they need to just enjoy what they're getting. Like, I don't have much sympathy for them.
Aye.
I would if my team's winning 4 leagues out of 6 seasons. Like, I think I would be happy.
Aye. I mean, you'd think that, but you know, once you get to that stage when you're winning stuff, you want to win the creme de la creme, as you know.
That's also
they'd get frustrated. Same as PSG. That's why they'd get they want to win the Champions League. You know what I mean?
Just shows you it's not just money, mate.
It's because it's quite funny though because Michael, I don't know if you know that, but Pep Guardiola had this weird kind of run-in with Yaya Toure. Like there was a bit of animosity there, and it was weird. So Yaya Toure's agent, I think he's Ukrainian or Russian or something. I can't remember where his agent's from, but anyway, his agent. This is in 2018 after Yaya had been let go for City, pretty much. He said Pep turned all Africa against himself. I'm sure that many African shamans in the future will not allow Guardiola to win the Champions League. This will be for Guardiola an African curse. Life will show whether I am right or not.
Jesus.
So far.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Them shamans have got strong.
I mean, we could argue about causation and correlation, but I mean, he's not wrong. Don't know if he's right, but he's not wrong.
No. Oh man.
Outstanding.
Yeah. So, just to wrap up the football here, the kings of the Champions League, Real Madrid, will be taking on Liverpool at the end of the month. Michael, do you know how many times Real Madrid have been in the final?
Oh, it's going to be 15 or something. 15, 20 times.
17.
17.
This will be 18. They've won it 13 times. Aye. The next best to win it is AC Milan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They've won it 7 times.
How many times have they been there though? Because I feel like their record might be up there with Real. I don't think they've been there quite as much, have they?
11. They've been to 11 finals.
Right. Okay. So, good record.
Right. But Real Madrid, they just somehow seem to.
There's something about them in Europe, isn't there?
Aye.
For as long as I can remember, I suppose for longer than me, they've had it. So, for as long as I can remember, they've had that about them, man. Regardless of how their season's going in Spain, if they're in there in Europe, they're doing well.
Aye. I think the 70s and the 80s, they kind of had a wee lull. But barring that, they've just been outstanding. In Europe, they have, like, from the get-go. Way back in 1956 was when they won their first one.
Yep.
Liverpool, very good team. So, no. Who you got for that one?
I think Liverpool. I think Liverpool. They've lived their 9 lives, I think, in this year. Real Madrid, Liverpool, when they're on, they are pretty much unstoppable.
Aye.
You've got 2 teams there who both have history of fighting like a bloody rabid dog and coming back for deficits. So it's surely it's going to be down to the wire.
Aye. Surely.
I look forward to it. It will be a good game, lads. It's a certainty to be exciting.
It could go another way, and one team just
maybe
pumps the other one.
Maybe.
Aye.
But I know, like Real Madrid, they have that mentality in that squad that's their competition.
It is their right to win that. Aye. Basically.
I don't know. It'll be a very interesting match. It'll be good to see. It'll be good to watch. I'll definitely watch it.
Would it be fair to say that Liverpool in recent months or so has been consistently a better team?
Consistently better, yes. I would say.
But Real's obviously the big games, they're just no good.
Aye, big games, they're just
the
big games.
The big
they turn up in the
characters
big
in their
games.
team, the likes of Kroos and Modric and Benzema, they've all done it before so many times. Like, so it's just second nature for them to turn up in these monster games. Like,
aye, I mean, the mentality really volumes for them, man. When it's time to turn up, they turn up, especially in the big games. I mean, you could argue today, Liverpool, yesterday, that Liverpool's mentality isn't quite there yet, because they slipped up against Tottenham 1-1. They know that they need to go and win that to have a chance to win the league. But
I think that again. I think that's the positive of them winning the Champions League semi-final, is that mental fatigue comes into the league campaign, and I think that's probably what's hurt them there.
So anyway, keep on that. We'll definitely be watching that one. We'll analyse it a bit more in the week running up to the final.
Absolutely.
So we will.
What's the date? What week is it?
You got me there. May the 20.
Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
May what 20?
28th of May is what it is. In fact,
28th. There we go.
Yeah.
I knew it was 20 something. 28th. May the 28th. There we go.
It's a busy weekend.
Oh, belter.
So,
I'm in Dumfries that weekend.
Are you?
Aha, there we go.
Pushed.
I'll be getting pished and all. These kidney stains are away within.
I'm never getting pished again. I can't handle it.
We'll move on from all football. We'll move on to Paul's Quack of the Week.
Oh. Well, I know you've said you'll move on for football, but to be honest, my Quack of the Week was Manchester City for shiting the bed against Real Madrid. So we don't really need to talk about it much because we have already spoke at length about we could
do Quack of the Week. The other Manchester team.
Oh, do you know what? Do you want me to go 5 minutes on Manchester United again? Because that would be easy. That would be really easy. In fact, you know what? Double.
They're already deed and Barrett this season.
Sports teams from Manchester are both my Quack of the Week. Manchester United. For the fact that Brighton and Hove Albion, I'll say it again, Brighton and Hove Albion were showboating at 4-0 up against Manchester United. I don't need to tell you why, other than to state that fact.
It was a sight to behold.
God help Eric Ten Hag. He is in so much trouble. I hope he savoured his last couple of weekends at Ajax in Amsterdam, where it's cool.
Do you know what? He might not have as bad as a job on his hands as what we think. See if he just goes into that squad and just says, right, you, and you're off. Like, you know what I mean? Bring in 2 or 3 E's players. I mean, obviously he's got Van de Beek, who played amazing under him, so you can build around him.
True.
And, whatever. I mean, Varane, I've never really been a fan of him. He's not listen, he played at Real Madrid and folk always, Varane, great defender. He's really not. See, when you're playing alongside a world-class player, they make you look better than what you are. Brighton and Hove yesterday ran rings around him.
It's like somebody turned the difficulty down in FIFA, man. It's just, it doesn't make sense as to how shit they were. It's incredible.
It was like a Brazil team. Brighton were like a Brazil team in an alternative kit. You're fucking about Man United. You flick here. Hey.
Just tell me they did a weird Brazil in disguise chant.
They should have.
They should have, aye. Oh, man. Why, they've got some work cut out for them. If they go about it the right way, the rebuild of that squad could go quite well. If they don't sort it out properly, it's going to be...
They've clearly got a squad of players, and if he can turn them into a team, then they'll be right back at the top. But I don't care enough about football to have any idea whether or not that's feasible. I don't know how many folk need to be sent back in before that's...
Oh, there's a few.
There's a lot. As it stands, if West Ham win their game of Holland, I can't even talk. As it stands, if West Ham win their game in hand, they would push Manchester United down to 7th.
Oh, God.
Which is Europa Conference League football for those who don't know.
Well, there you go. I mean, there's a potential win in Europe for them. That'll rebuild them.
Hey!
Get some money in the door right there. Oh boy.
Champions.
Baby steps.
Champions.
Baby steps. That's it. Baby steps. Rebuild baby steps. Anyway, we'll thank you very much for that, Paul.
Not a problem, my man.
To the F1 now, so we will. Obviously, today the date of recording is Sunday, the 8th of May, where the Grand Prix is in Miami. Obviously, it's on later, so due to conflicts in schedule, we'll not be able to record after. So we'll do a little preview to the race. Next week, we'll break it down, which should be fun. So this week, guys, watching the F1 qualifiers and the practices and stuff, the crowd was pretty big there, wasn't it?
I've turned out for it.
Actually, did you see the video that I did send it to you guys, where Lando Norris was driving Jimmy Butler around the track?
Pass.
In the McLaren?
I do not believe I've seen. Wait, is that the big tall fella? And he was kicking his pants?
Yes.
He was kicking his pants.
The basketball player.
Ah, right.
I mean, he looked like a basketball player, but I don't know what to say that.
That's, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, did you see the crowd there? That was at the time.
Yep.
That was a week before.
Right,
that was a week before this weekend.
So it's like media, do you think?
Aye. America. This is why they want to get into America. F1.
Oh, if they can crack the code, well, there, man, that's big bucks.
Honestly, a lot of those people there are not there to watch F1. A lot of the people there this weekend will be there for clout. You know, look where I am. It's a big thing in America. Like, look, boom, boom. I'm here. This is a new hot, like, you know, which
the influencers.
Aye, fair enough. You want to do that? Cool. If it was my event, I'd be like, cool, just give me your money. I don't care. You know what I mean? So F1 right now rubbing their hands. I think, though, it could have been a better weekend if they had done a sprint qualifier this weekend. Chose Miami as
track looks good for a sprint qualifying race as well, by the way.
Like, if they'd done that this weekend with that new crowd, oh, God. You'd have been loving it, I think. I mean, they looked like they were loving it anyway.
You can see why they wouldn't. Like, there's probably too many questions for them. They've been pretty coy with the sprint qualifying this season, so I understand it. But having seen the cars fly around that track, I really wish they did have sprint qualifying there.
Aye.
I see Lewis Hamilton had a lot to say about the track, though, lads. He had a bit of reservations about the surface.
Aye, there's been chat about it.
Said it was like a B&Q car park.
Martin Brundle was digging into it as well. Like, apparently if you stay on the racing line, it's pretty sweet, but like on about it for whatever reason, it's loose gravel. Like, it's no good quality.
Dear,
so if they venture off the racing line for any reason, they're going to lose grip rapid and degrade their tyres. So it's going to be dicey at times.
Which is going to make for a more exciting race.
Yep.
Thank you, Miami.
Well, true. Well, anything else, my Haas team, because they're in bother.
One thing I didn't like, though, was the fake marina that they put. Obviously, they've got real boats, put them there on the stilts and that to hold them in place, and put fake water there. Like, oh my God, why?
I did not realise that was fake.
There you go.
Mission
accomplished by FIA.
I wasn't watching the water, you know what I mean? I'm watching the cars, so I didn't even realise.
Honestly, if you see a picture of it, it just looks terrible.
Right.
They originally wanted the track to go around past the marina,
right?
And that.
Okay.
But the people who owned houses and property over there, they're like, no
mas.
They shut it down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they were like, no bueno. They're like, well, goodbye. So that's when they came up with the idea around the Hard Rock and stuff. But I mean, in the Hard Rock itself, they have like all these different fan experiences. Like they have the NFL matches and stuff. So I'd really like to go. in like maybe next year.
Well, I mean, to
and
be
see what's
fair,
what,
it's
like,
what, an hour and a half on a plane or something like that for you?
an hour,
An hour?
and 10 minutes or something.
You're
I'm not saying
pretty
it'd be
close,
cheap,
mate.
but it's certainly doable.
No, exactly. It wouldn't be cheap.
It's a hell of a lot more doable for you than it is for us.
Aye,
The thing is, we the way they've done it, like obviously being they've Americanized and stuff, is there's actually cheap parts to it.
Right.
Like in the actual stadium itself, you can watch on the screens and stuff like that.
Right.
It's actually cheaper, so they're milking every bit of money out of it that they can. Which fair enough. That's what you got to do. Like, you know, like the celebrities that were out there, just because you know, just like actresses, actors, basketball players. You know, Michael Jordan, I believe, was there at one point. I think Lando Norris sat in the room.
So I saw Michelle Obama was there.
Michelle Obama as well. James Corden. Who might actually be the next pundit? No, not pundit, but presenter on Match of the Day when Gary Lineker leaves.
James Corden.
Yep.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. No, he's not allowed.
Serious?
He's not allowed. No,
Why?
I love Gavin and Stacey.
Anyway.
I can't stand that fucker. Sorry. James Corden. God,
Anyway,
no.
let's steer back onto the track, lads.
That laugh, that fake laugh. Sorry.
So he was there with Ricardo. They were doing some stuff. That was quite funny. Just onto the qualifying itself. You just watched the qualifying?
Yes.
I didn't, I'm afraid.
Michael, yes. Paul?
No.
Oh, no, you weren't watching it. It was actually quite an exciting qualifying, so it was.
Yep. Aye.
To be honest. Aye. At one point, Hamilton looked like he was in the in danger, but then he went up to fourth, and that was in Q1.
Yep.
Was
nearly at Q1, ended up fourth.
Yeah, hi. He was nearly out and then crossed the line and boom.
I believe he was
up in fourth.
I think he was fourth as well in Q2. Fourth or fifth?
I think he was fifth. I think he was fifth by that time because the two Ferraris and the two Red Bulls had overtaken him then.
Aye, that sounds about right.
So he's fifth then, and then he's sixth now because obviously Bottas took him. Mike was thinking.
No, I'm thinking Perez. I think Perez was still struggling a wee bit then. I don't think he was.
Q2.
I think it was Q3 or 4. Perez was back at the top, I think. Anyway. Par for the course.
Aye.
Point being, it was a hell of fun.
Aye, it was.
Mr. Saturday, George Russell. Something not quite right in his setup this week. Struggling a bit.
You think it was his setup? I don't know if it was his setup, you know. I think something happened and he got a little bit timid.
Well,
you could see him.
He had overs. I can't remember what corner it was, but in his flyer for Q2, he got some oversteer and he was going at like 200-ish mile an hour. He was basically flat out and go oversteer. There's a bit where it's like I think it's like a slight left into. I think it's slight left and slight left again, and then I think you approach a chicane or something. So it was at the second wee bit he hit some oversteer, and he was able to correct it, but he had to back away off to get it under control, kind of thing. And then for there, he seemed to he couldn't. He done another lap and was nowhere near. So ended up calling it. So I don't know, but he seemed to be struggling for grip, and I think that's why it happened. So the question is, did they tweak something with his setup? Because obviously he had a good second practice. First and
second, I think.
The Mercedes did well.
I didn't notice that with the practices. That Mercedes were doing well.
It would seem that when they absolutely nail with that kind of track, when they nail it, the porpoising isn't too bad for them, and the actual pace of the car starts to shine through a bit. But as soon as
Aye.
As soon as they lose any grip or get off the line at all, then everything's coming back and they're struggling again.
Aye. So this track is low downforce. That's why the porpoising isn't so bad for Mercedes. This one, this round. Sorry,
it's. I was watching a video. I can't remember the fella's YouTube channel. One of the pundits, but he had the Scarb as the guy, the engineer guy. He does spots for the Sky Sports Formula One coverage, where he explains some of the stuff going on with aerodynamics and that. He was explaining that the root of Mercedes' troubles, it's now came out that it's not an aerodynamics issue. Although the aerodynamics plays a part, the root cause of their issue is actually the suspension setup. And the suspension isn't handling the loads that the aerodynamics is putting through. So as soon as they hit a curb or do anything that puts them off balance, they go into this porpoising cycle, and the suspension can't recover once the aerodynamics get out of whack. So although they're making incremental upgrades to the aerodynamics kit and some other stuff to try and get everything under control, it's not going to be until that they do a bit of an overhaul of the suspension. I believe it's the rear suspension in particular that they're going to be able to solve it, which might not. In theory, they'll be able to do it throughout the season, but it might take them to next season to nail it.
Aye, to nail it properly. Interesting. So obviously, I mean, Ferrari still has porpoising, which you just don't see it as much as the Mercedes.
Aye.
But the Ferrari porpoising is mostly when they're braking and such. So when they're braking, that's when their porpoising starts.
Yep.
And when they initially take off as well. But on the straights, it's generally okay. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yep.
Right, these porpoising that they haven't sorted out the porpoising yet.
Yep.
Hopefully it'll be soon. Actually, I was seeing something. Somebody was saying that these teams had better try and sort out the porpoising sooner rather than later, because it can lead to these drivers getting injured, picking up injuries throughout the season.
There's no way.
From the constant.
No way it's good for their neck or brain.
Aye, exactly.
That rumbling, man.
The back.
Aye.
The spine, you know what I mean? Like, that could so easily slip a disc or something. Like, very, very easily. Shaking of the heat, so many things could go wrong there. But the guy was explaining over time, like, it's just going to wear down their bodies.
Yep.
And they'll be a downer driver within no time. So just want to see, obviously before the race, the battles to watch out for today. Obviously at the front there we have the two Ferraris and the two Red Bulls. That's going to be something to watch. See how those teams manage, their game management. It's going to be epic to watch that. Very interested in Hamilton and Bottas. See what goes on there.
Yep.
That's going to be a very interesting one. Obviously, a lot of people will have their eyes on that. A lot of people would want Bottas to win for reasons. They think that he was hard done by, etc., etc.
Yep.
Fair enough. That's your view. That's fine. A lot of people, obviously, Hamilton fans want Hamilton win. However, that battle could get tricky because right behind them you have Gasly and Norris, who will be coming for them straight away. So that could get a bit tricky for them. They're going to have to watch what's happening behind them.
Norris is ruthless and Gasly's very unpredictable. So it could get interesting quick.
Aye. Then I want to see what happens with Mick Schumacher and K-Mag. Mick's in 15th, K-Mag starting 16th. Yep. What's the team going to do? Is the team going to favour one of them? Or are they going to say, you can race? Or what's going to happen? I'm very interested to see that. Who comes out on top if they do say to them, race? race in a safe manner, though. Obviously, that would be interesting. I also want to see how Russell performs. What he can do with that car today, if he can push and get up the spots, or what, see if it was a setup or if it was just him.
Yeah,
Get a bit timid or whatever. However, he's between Vettel and Alonso, so he's got two veterans. It's going to be
terrible.
Tough for him.
I mean, I'm sure he'll enjoy it. He'll have fun, try to race with him, but that's nowhere you want to be to have a chance of getting further up the field, man, because it's going to take a bit of time to navigate them, man. They're wily veterans.
It's exactly. Can't remember who's in front of him. Who's in front of him?
Vettel, I'm sure, is it not?
No,
oh, no, Alonso got in at the death.
Aye.
He got in. Aye, that's right. He just sneaked
Alonso,
in. Vettel had a problem. Can't remember what it was.
Aye.
Something happened to Vettel.
So that would be very interesting. So hopefully those will be some real interesting battles to watch out for today. It'd be brilliant.
Yep.
Sure we'll have a lot to talk about next week. One last thing very quickly before we move on here. Did you all see Nico Rosberg's comments?
I didn't know.
From 2 weeks ago. About Hamilton and Mercedes.
No.
That's a bit interesting.
Okay, his statement. So Nico Rosberg has stated that he believes former rival Lewis Hamilton may have a tough time remaining motivated this season, and given results and performances, he thinks Mercedes is lying to Lewis to protect their driver after another tough weekend. Obviously, that was last race weekend.
Okay.
Aye.
So when he says lying to him, are they talking about like, the car's crap, rather than telling
he's
him,
talking.
like, you could have done better?
Aye, that's what he's getting at there.
I mean, I think there's a most of the drivers are quite sensitive when it comes down to it, like ego and confidence and all the sort of mental aspects of it they're a much bigger aspect to the sport than what a lot of folk think, I think.
Yep.
So I think most teams will do a bit of babysitting with that kind of thing.
I don't think they're lying to him 100%. Maybe there's a wee.
It's probably a better term.
Aye, sugarcoat. Aye, they're telling a wee white lie here and there. You know what I mean? Yes, the car is terrible, but you could push it a little bit more. So I think they're trying to push him with it, telling him like shit. you've been shit, like they're trying to handle that in a different way.
Yeah.
It's fair enough. You have to manage every individual differently.
And I mean, how many people on this fucking planet could relate with the mental space that he's got to be in? And Hamilton, I'm obviously talking about, like being champion and utterly dominant for so long, to now not only have you lost your title to the young gun, but your car's shit. You know what I mean?
Aye, exactly.
But, I mean, that's not necessarily that's selling it short, but like the setup of your car is not optimal. Let's say, right? That's a more diplomatic way of saying it. Like the Russell is. I mean, we mentioned this before. Like he's coming up through for Williams. He is used to this is natural for him. This is probably as good as it could be for him moving into Mercedes. He doesn't have to transition for being fighting for absolutely everything to suddenly he's got this amazing car and he's he's like constantly at the front, and so he's worrying about defending people behind rather than attacking people in front, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's the same thing for him, just a wee bit further up the field. Whereas with Hamilton, he suddenly finds himself in a place that he hasn't been in a long time.
Yep. Long time.
But it's interesting to see how it's developing.
We'll see what the result is this weekend or later on today. We'll talk about it more next week. see if he can start pushing himself back into contention a wee bit.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about some more, but we're running out of time, so I'll leave that stuff for next week. And we'll just move on to Mick's monologue to finish up the day.
Okay, then, well, seeing as you made your bed last week, you shall lie in it this week. And we'll just see ourselves out with a handful of Chuck Norris jokes.
Oh, here we go, mate.
The all classic one-liner. Chuck Norris is so tough, he counted to infinity twice. Chuck Norris, I love this one, by the way, this might be my favourite one. Chuck Norris doesn't call the wrong number, you pick up the wrong phone. That's about that. Now this one is right up there with it. Chuck Norris went on vacation to the Virgin Islands. When he left, they were just the islands.
Yes.
We'll finish with this one, I think. There have never been mass extinctions. Only a list of times that Chuck Norris has gone hunting.
That's outstanding, man. Love a Chuck Norris. Thank you, Chuck Norris.
Hi, thank you very much, Chuck Norris, for being so hard that folk just make jokes.
I like that. Right, one more bonus one just because it's creative.
Right, one more.
Chuck Norris can pick oranges from an apple tree and make the best damn lemonade you've ever had.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh God.
That's genius. Aye, that might be my favourite.
Oh God. Right.
Winner.
So just before we go, just a quick wee reminder, you can find us on all social media apps. You can find us on our webpage, the midweekmashtattie.com. We have a bit about ourselves on there. We have a couple of blogs that you can read through. Obviously, we have a YouTube channel as well. We'd really love it if you guys could share us with anybody you know that likes podcasts. Please share. For you F1 fans out there, obviously today we haven't been able to talk about the race. Or if you just leave us a wee message when you see this post go up, just tell us what you thought were the key battles in that race. What did you like? How did you find the track? And we can talk about it next week. That'd be fantastic. Again, thank you all very much for listening. Bye bye, driver.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.
You have now reached your destination.